Yo, what up, y'all? IntraVenus here with another episode from P.O.L Game Review, and I'm also from P.O.L Music, so don't forget to check that out. Today, we're going to be covering something awesome from the 90s, and that would be the Dreamcast Generator Disc. This here is Volume 2. And some say this is the best demo disc that was ever released for the Sega Dreamcast. I'm playing it with the pretty cool Retro Fighters game controller. Now, if you don't know about that, I suggest you check it out. Speaking of gaming controllers, I just got my Nixie gaming pad for the Nintendo Switch, and let me tell you, this is my new favorite game controller. It is kind of like the Duke of Switch controllers. I mean, look how big this is. It fits so nicely in my hands. It's got built-in lighting. It's got wake-up functionality, vibration, all kinds of great stuff. And if you want to check one of those out yourself, I suggest going to nixiegaming.com, and you can use promo code IV of P.O.L Music and get yourself 10% off your entire order. Pretty cool, huh? Anyways, we're not here to talk about that today, though I will be reviewing the Nixie Gaming split pad on another episode. Now, you might say it's like the Hori Split Pad Pro, but it is way, way better and more affordable too. So, without any further ado, let's start up this bad boy. I love the beginning sound and logo. The nostalgia it feels when I power up my Sega Dreamcast. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's start out with the first demo. Now, we've got 8 demos on this disc, and first we're starting out with one of probably the best games on the Sega Dreamcast, and that is Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure brings back so much memories. It's my favorite Sonic game of all time, at least out of the 3D ones. And this game is just great. So in this demo, you're seeing here that we've got the first level, and it's probably the most memorable level too, where you got the killer whale jumping after you when you're running across the bridge. Let's go ahead and show you some clips of it without me talking. Here we go.
Team.
on panel number 1. It will take you to panels 2 and 3. Jump as soon as you land on a panel or else you'll fall.
Oh yeah, wasn't that fun? I really love this thing. I mean, back in the day, we didn't have much money as kids playing video games, not as adult collectors, as some of us like myself are today. So we played our demo discs a lot. These days, you don't even get demos on discs. You go and download them online, and I don't think too many people use demos in general. It's kind of sad, but it makes sense, you know. This was played a lot in my house. It features games not only like Sonic Adventure, which you might only get a few playthroughs before you really want to play the full game, but you got games like Tony Hawk Pro Skater. That first level, you could just play it over and over again trying to get the high score. It's awesome. Anyways, let's go on to the next one. Next up, we have Tomb Raider, The Last Revelation. I'm going to warn you right now, we're going to keep the footage very brief. It's very dark. This was kind of pre-final touches of the game, I think. It seems to be missing some things, some little final smoothing outs. But this game just wasn't good for me. I think this is really where Tomb Raider started to fall off. Maybe even Tomb Raider 3. I think this is technically Tomb Raider 4. I remember owning it back in the day. I've owned it as an adult. I've tried to play it. The controls are terrible. I just can't get into it. But here's a little clip anyways. Alright. Now, here is a strange one. This game is sort of like a platformer, but a shooter, and I can see where there could have been some fun in it. It took me a little while to get into it, but this game might have been a hidden gem or a gem in general for some of y'all, and that is the game Fur Fighters. Let's go ahead and take a look. Fur Fighters, y'all. I think the platforming is a little difficult. The controls maybe are just a little hard for me to get used to these days, going back to these first 3D games where they're really trying to figure out how to control things. We know Mario 64 did it for one of the first times and possibly the best. The tank controls in the older games like Tomb Raider and the first Resident Evils, they're really hard to get into. Anyhow, let's move on to the next game. Alright, here we have Railroad Tycoon II, and this is just like it sounds. It's a railroad simulation game, and I actually remember putting in some time on this, probably one of the last games that I really put in time on the demo once I got tired of everything else. But even back then, I figured out how to do it. I think I beat every demo on here. We pretty much will beat everyone in our footage in this, but not this one, okay? I'm just gonna build a little bit of railroad for you, speed up the timeline. It's kind of like SimCity, but old school, and railroads. Check it out. Yeah, that was Railroad Tycoon. Woo! I mean, I'd say it's a lot more fun and interesting than something like Farm Simulator. Next up, we have Rayman 2. Rayman 2 is the sequel to Rayman, of course, and they went from 2D to 3D in the second Rayman game, and this is a very good platformer. I love Rayman 2. In fact, this is probably my second favorite way of playing it. My first favorite has become the version on the PlayStation 2. I highly suggest you check it out, and in fact, playing the game, I realized that I didn't even get that far whenever I played it. I'm going to have to play the real game all the way through because the spot in this demo, I don't even remember. Check it out. All right. Rayman 2, one of my favorite games on this disc. Next up, we're going to check out MDK2. MDK2 is a very good game, also on the PlayStation 2, which is my favorite way to play it. I did put that in a previous video about PlayStation 2 gems, and I'll go ahead and throw that up here somewhere. Check it out.
Before you begin your assault, Kurt, I've got to refresh your memory on how to use the coil suit. Use X, Y, B, and A to move around. Try pressing 2 buttons at the same time for diagonal movement. Use the analog stick to both look up and down and turn from side to side. Once you're comfortable moving about, stand by the arrow in the center of the room and face the exit. This is where we begin with the shooting. Use the right trigger to fire your chain gun and aim with the analog stick. Destroy those targets in front of the exit. I've placed a grenade somewhere close by. Walk over to it and add it to your inventory. Right, now to throw it. Press up on the D-pad. Smashing! Now let's learn to jump and use your parachute. Look for the lowest floating platform in this room. Run toward it and jump on it by pressing the left trigger. Now, jump to the platform closest to you. Now, try a para-jump to the next platform. Press and hold both the left trigger and the Y button to glide to your target. Try jumping onto that nearest platform, Kurt. You'll notice you can't land feet first on that one, but you can jump high enough to grab onto the ledge and pull yourself up. Right! Enough jumping around, lad. I've turned on a fan in the middle of the room. Stand on it and open your parachute. By holding your parachute open in the updraft, you'll be able to reach the large platform above you. Now let's teach you how to use your sniper scope. First, get the sniper grenade by bumping into it. Now, stand by the arrow at the edge facing the exit. Press down on the D-pad to enter sniper mode. Use the analog stick to look around. Press Y and A to zoom in and out. X and B strafe, and right trigger fires.
Alright, MDK2. Really good controls in MDK2, and the visuals are really good. The only thing I wasn't hip on is the fact that it's mostly just the beginning training, telling you how to use the controls in this demo, instead of like throwing you right into a really cool level. But still, really awesome. Alright, let's go to the next one. Tony Hawk Pro Skater, the original, the best original skateboarding game there is, where they took it to like an arcadey level. It wasn't too realistic, but it wasn't too goofy either. Great music. In fact, I'm gonna have to mute the soundtrack on here so we don't get bopped for some sort of copyright claims. Really good soundtrack though. Instead, maybe I'll just throw some of my own music over there on the background instead. Let's check it out.
Woke up, doing the choke up, lost in the smoking, I'm coughing and coping, I don't want to joke, I'm just lost in the moment, I'm cooking the oceans of all these emotions, sipping the potion with all the people, these notions that nobody's noticed. If I was dying tonight, then I guess I would like to make it so hopeless. What is the meaning of sober if I'm always broken, I'm sticking to focus? Hell, if I live it tonight, then at least I am going, cause I can see it's all right here. Everything that is kept inside of me, eyes on the prize while I skip in sobriety. Shots to the right, hop in the road. Wait to the go, taking the road, making it grow, taking it go. I don't play when it comes to my fate. I can throw out the quakes to the ground with a shake in the floor. They can take it some more and it's making it down. 8 at my core, tell me to stay, they tell me to go. I don't want to be by myself in the show, but I'm on my go. I'm all alone, popping the shots and I'm taking it home. I can sing, it's all right. Every blessing, I'm out here to get it. Profound every lesson, it's time to admit it. The shining for tops of the mountains committed. It's time for the lights to be shown in the image. I'm down to my limits, I'll never forget it. It's not like every town that has spit it. Now, I'm gonna go get it. Now, I'm gonna go get it. Rockin' the illa when I'm packing the homegrown ozone, so blown, caulking the photos, so pros walking the yo-yo one notice.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater, the original. You could see that this is also possibly one of those pre-final release versions, because I noticed when I was grinding, I didn't have the little bendy thing that told you to keep balance. I could have sworn that that was in the first game and they didn't add it in the second game and so on. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this was just the very beginning, unpolished, you know. You don't even get any menus. They just throw you right into that first level. But you can play and get all the cool stuff. You can get the high scores and the skate all the letters and knock over all the boxes. And you could just try to get better and better in that level, playing it over and over again with the soundtrack. Oh, that's one we played a lot. And I know if you had this demo disc, you did too. Alright, let's go on to Dead or Alive 2. Dead or Alive 2 is one of the higher graphical experiences on the Sega Dreamcast. If you remember, it's a really good fighting game. It's sort of similar to games like, say, Virtua Fighter or Soul Calibur, but there aren't any weapons. It's got sort of a wrestling, street fighting mechanic. Full 3D, really good. It's a little slower pace than some fighters. You know, it's not going to be for those who like the Street Fighter 2 turbos and stuff, the Marvel vs. Capcoms. This is something a little more different. It's about timing and dodging, and there's not really throwing fireballs or anything. It's a really good game, though. Highly recommend all the Dead or Alive games, and let's go ahead and check it out.
「この戦いには絶対に勝つ」よろしくね。
行くぞ。
Get ready, fight!
やっ
いい戦いだった。
イプシロン。失敗だったと聞いたわ。
お前、何を知っている？イプシロンとは何のことだ？
コントロールは解けてるようね。行くわよ。
Get ready, fight!
兄さん、はやて兄さん。
知っているのか、俺を。
だって兄さんじゃ。
Get ready, fight!
勝つこと、それが俺の野生だ。
Game over.
All right, there it is. The Sega Dreamcast Generator Volume 2. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I've gone ahead and taken it out of the console so I can show you what the discs look like. Oh, there's some schmutz on there. Look at this. See, look, there's dirtiness on there. I don't know what that is. Probably from the previous owner. I've had this a long time, but I don't think I've ever played this one until today. That's not to say I never played it. Like I said before, I used to have it and I played it all the time as a kid. But it's good to have it back, and it's really fun just to see the menus again. Awesome. Awesome. Tell me if you think this is the best demo disc, the best generator for the Sega Dreamcast. I really liked the first one as well. I feel like that had Ready to Rumble boxing, which was also a fun one to get at over and over again. But anywho, thanks so much for staying tuned for another episode of P.O.L Game Review, and I'm so glad you stuck around to the end. If you feel like looking into more stuff I've done, I'll give you some suggestions at the end of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more. I just released a music video, which is fun, and I've got other music on Spotify and all that, so check it out. I'm going to get back into playing some Nintendo Switch now with my Nixie gaming pad controller. Don't forget to get that promo, IV of P.O.L Music. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace!
I don't play when it comes to my fate. I adore the quakes on the ground when they're shaking the floor. They can take it some more, and it's making me poor, breaking me down, aching my core. Tell me to stay, they tell me to go. I don't wanna be by myself at the show, but I'm on my go when I'm all alone. Popping the shots that are taking it home.
I can sing a song right here.